very warm welcome to our special edition, the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, the only show where we bring you important unstarred or written questions asked by the members of the upper house during the 251st session of the Rajya Sabha and the response given by the government in written format. I'm Kriti Mishra and joining me is my colleague Rajat.
Thanks Kriti, and thanks to our viewers watching this edition of Question Hour. So Kriti, let's begin with the show.
And the first question in this edition is from member Dr. Vikas Mahatme, and this question is to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And Dr. Mahatme has asked the government about steps taken to improve rural health care in India.
Well, in their response, the ministry said public health and hospital being a state subject, the primary responsibility of improving the health facilities across the country, including rural areas, lies with the state government. To address the healthcare challenges, particularly in rural areas, the National Rural Health Mission was launched in 2005 to supplement the efforts of state and union territory governments to provide accessible, affordable and quality health care to all those who access public health facilities. Currently, the National Rural Health Mission is a submission of National Health Mission. Now, NHM, which is National Health Mission, support is provided to states and UTs for setting up of new facilities as per norms and upgradation of existing facilities for bridging the infrastructure gaps and to fill up the vacancies of human resource on contractual basis based on the required position by the authorities. Now, National Health Mission support is also provided for provision of a host of free services related to maternal health, child health, adolescent health, family planning, universal immunization program, and for major disease such as tuberculosis, vector-borne disease like malaria, dengue and Kala Azar, leprosy among others.
In fact, Dr. Vikas Mahatme joined us on the Question Hour show, and this is what he had to say about rural healthcare and the steps taken by the government. And joining us on the Question Hour show is Rajya Sabha member and questioner Dr. Vikas Mahatme. Sir, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television and thank you so much for talking to us. You've asked a very important question about improving rural healthcare in India.
Yes, it's important.
What is your take on government's response?
Yeah, government has responded well, and I think basically we should understand that health is a state subject. So majority of the things depend on the state. But still, through rural health services, that is National Health Rural Program, NRHM, which is under NHM, National Health Management. So this program will take care of the health of the peoples. This runs the Janani Suraksha Yojana. This has provided a great relief because you can see from 2007 the maternal mortality rate, which was around 212, has reduced drastically to 137 in 2017 or 16. So this has reduced much more than what in the rest of the world it has reduced. So we can take credit for the good implementation of this maternity mortality rate we were able to reduce. Second was the infant mortality rate, that has also been reduced. So this is because of the Bal Suraksha Yojana and Janani Suraksha Yojana, both. This I think is the great achievement of the government. And the other things about this ASHA workers, they have made a tremendous change in the rural health. They have supported the treatment and management and detection. All communicable diseases has been reduced, the incidence. Even they work in malaria, vector-borne diseases, dengue, etc. As well as you can see immunization, which is the most important thing. So I think this has improved rural health of people in these years.
So what are the other steps that the government can take to improve rural health in the country?
Of course, one is the education and the role of paramedical. That is very important. As I have told you just now, the ASHA worker has played a more important role. But in every field, there should be more paramedicals. And these paramedicals will help the doctors or the physicians to take the services to the common people. And I feel that in education, this is a skill more than education, you can say, with skills will be much more helpful in this. And budget allocation should go on increasing gradually in health. That is very important. That is my opinion.
So, but India is plagued with this problem of low doctor-patient ratio.
Yeah.
How do we improve that?
Actually, now the problem is solved to a great extent. Previously, last year or year before that, the total number of medical students coming out was around 53,000. But now it has been around, I think, more than 75,000. So it has increased in 2 years to a great extent. So this National Medical Commission and whatever the society has taken up has made a drastic change in intake. The PG number has also been increased. It was around, say, postgraduates around 25,000. Now it is around 40,000. So it has increased a lot. That is why I feel now it has been taken up very well. So we need not worry about that. And of course, the number should go on increasing this way only. What has been done in last 2 years, that has to be improved.
Point well taken, sir. Thank you so much for talking to Rajya Sabha television.
Thank you.
Moving on to next question of the show that was asked by member N. Gokul Krishnan from Ministry of Home Affairs, and he asked about number of countries with whom India has dual citizenship agreements.
Replying to the query asked by the member, the government says that dual citizenship is not permitted as per the provisions of Article 9 of Constitution of India, read with Section 9 of the Citizenship Act 1955. The government further says to the query of the member that in the Sirimavo and Shastri Agreement of 1964, it was stipulated that India would grant citizenship to 5,25,000 persons, while Sri Lanka would accept 3 lakh Indian origin Tamils in the ratio of 7:4, and the status of remaining 1,50,000 persons was to be considered later. Then, in the Sirimavo Indira Gandhi Agreement of 1974, the remaining IOTs were to be accepted as citizens of India and Sri Lanka in the ratio of 1:1, along with natural increase in their numbers. IOTs of Sri Lanka were registered as citizens of India under the provisions of Section 5(1)(b) of the Citizenship Act 1955, and the passports were issued to them. As per the information supplied by the Public Rehabilitation Department, Government of Tamil Nadu, a total of 4,61,639 IOTs were repatriated to India from Sri Lanka under the aforesaid agreements up to the year 2006. In the year 1988, the Sri Lankan Parliament passed the Grant of Citizenship to Stateless Persons Act, which granted Sri Lankan citizenship to all Indian Tamils who had not applied for Indian citizenship under the previous agreement. Moving on to the next question that has been asked by member Ramnath Thakur, and this question is to the Ministry of Labour and Employment. And the member has asked the government whether it has formulated any specific plan for providing jobs to the educated youth in the country.
Well, in the reply, the ministry said that employment generation coupled with improving employability is a priority of the government. Government has taken various steps of generating employment in country, like encouraging private sector of economy, fast-tracking various projects involved in substantial investment and increasing public expenditure on schemes such as Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana and Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Urban Livelihood Mission. The Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana has been initiated by government for facilitating self-employment. Under Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, free loans up to 10 lakh are extended to micro and small business enterprises and to individuals to enable them to set up or expand their business activities. Well, next question was asked by the member Dr. Sonal Mansingh from Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Well, the member sought to know about the funds allocated by government, especially for improving dispensation of social justice in the country during last 5 years, and she has sought details state-wise.
Replying to this question, the government says that the mandate of this particular department is to implement the schemes of educational, economic and social empowerment of scheduled castes and other backward classes or OBC, senior citizens, victims of drug abuse, transgenders, denotified, nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes. For the successful implementation of the schemes, government takes several steps. Now, these include mandatory annual inspections by district authorities, scrutiny of proposals by multidisciplinary state-level grants in aid committee, mandatory submission of audited statement of accounts duly verified by the chartered accountants, and also periodic review of meetings and also video conferences with several stakeholders. Now, let's move on to the next question that has been asked by member Muhammad Jan, and this question is to the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And the member has asked the government whether it is aware that there is a massive diversion of LPG cylinders for commercial purposes under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana.
For replying to the query, the government said public sector oil marketing companies have reported there is a possibility of diversion of domestic LPG cylinders, including the PMUY cylinders, by unscrupulous elements due to tax differential between LPG for domestic use and the commercial use. The complaints of diversions are investigated by oil marketing companies, and if complaint is established, action is taken as per provisions of marketing discipline guidelines and distributorship agreement. Oil marketing companies have now reported there is a control mechanism in place by oil marketing companies' softwares to prevent more than one cylinder booking in a single day.
Well, that's all we had for you in this edition of Question Hour. But on the other side, we'll have Prashn Kal, the Hindi version of Question Hour, with our colleagues Arvind Singh and Kriti Singh. Please stay with Rajya Sabha Television.